everybody. Welcome to Vision One Media Artist Shoutout. My name is Ella Beth. I'm your host this week. And for this episode, we're introducing an artist who I have met recently and had the pleasure of being able to listen to some of their original music and their compositions and chat a little bit about them as an artist. So I thought, it'd be really cool to bring them onto the show. And so without further ado, welcome. How are you doing? Please introduce yourself.
I'm COATES. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. COATES. All right. So tell us about COATES.
COATES. Who is COATES? I don't even know who COATES is.
Give me 3 words.
3 words. Emotional, contemplative, and the third one is oh geez, you put me on the spot. I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Unknown.
Yeah, unknown.
Yeah. Okay. And how about would you describe yourself as an artist with those 3 words?
Yeah, I like to try and really observe the way that people live their life and the way that they feel things, and I write a lot of songs about it. Mm-hmm. I tend to not really write a whole lot of songs about myself. I mean, I guess they are in a way about myself because it's how I perceive other people's lives. But but yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess those 3 words would be good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have other questions. We can run it back in a minute, but I wanted to ask about that idea that you said that you don't write many songs with the words like I and me because you don't want it to be specific to you. You want it to be something that someone else can listen to and be like, oh, also maybe feel a part of it. How did you begin to write in that sort of more broad way or like metaphorical way?
Well, honestly, and I think all of us are deeply affected by the relationships in our lives. And if someone comes up to you and they hurt you, my instinct is to ask, why did they do that? Or if I hurt them, you're just like, why did this happen? Why did this escalate to all this? My life is not exactly normal, and I don't think anybody's life is really normal. But
normal?
Yeah.
What is normal?
Yeah. But I didn't grow up with a mom around, and my dad was a single parent, and there was a lot of heartbreak. I saw a lot of death in my family, and a lot of death early on. I was born into a grieving situation after my dad's brother was shot, and I always asked the question, what is life? Why are we here? What is all this? All the cliche stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I started getting into, toxic relationships of my own, and maybe they were toxic and maybe I was toxic. And I always just wondered, I'm like, man, why is this happening? So I tend to just really just observe people and ask, why are you the way that you are? And I think if you're an artist, your art is not yours. If your art is public, it's not yours anymore. Mm-hmm. So why should you center it around yourself completely? I mean, unless it's you are relating to the world, why should it always all be about you all the time? And sometimes that gets a little boring. Some of the best songs is somebody telling a story about something that doesn't have anything to do with them.
Right. True. Yeah. And I really love that about as songwriting. I don't think that I'm particularly good at it yet. It's something that I want to work on, being able to write a story or write a metaphor rather than just writing what is, essentially poetry from my diary to music. I really like that. Mm-hmm. So what has been the biggest influence in you getting into songwriting and becoming a songwriter and a storyteller?
I've always enjoyed being an influential person. And I think a lot of people that get into art that actually make a career out of it have some sort of little spark that tends to kind of get people to listen to them. When I was younger, I just loved the feeling of music. I think that's anybody, you get that little tingly feeling when you hear a certain chord progression. It's just like, oh, it feels so good. Oh, that's so pretty. I love this. And then, it's like cooking or something. It's just like you go to a restaurant and you taste something tastes really good, and you're like, wait a minute, I would kind of like to have that in my life all the time. I want to learn how to I want to learn how to make that. And then so you kind of spend years honing your skill, and you start to get obsessed with, gear and equipment. And then that evolves into, oh, wait a minute, I sort of have a voice. I've noticed people looking and listening. And so now I guess I have some level of influence, whether it's over one person or 20 people or 200 people. And so then it just kind of evolved into that, like, okay, now how can I mold this into something that actually means something? So
Right. I love that. That's really cool. So I know that you did mention it, that you come from a musical background, that you have musical family members. So it's kind of, I feel, I'm the same. I feel as someone who grows up around music, there's sort of an inevitability that there'll be an interest in the music, if not going in and doing that as part of your life. But when did you know that you wanted to pursue music as your thing, like what you do?
I just felt like I had something to say.
Okay.
Aside from just loving music and feeling affected by other people's music and falling in love with it, and of course, my dad was a blues player, and I grew up, listening to his bands and eventually playing drums for him, and then I branched off and did my own thing. But I always felt like I had something to say. I always felt like I could say something that would affect somebody. And so then I just knew that I wanted to do something like that. Before music, I always kind of like wanted to be a doctor, maybe a neurosurgeon or something. And
really?
Yeah, I was always interested in that stuff, and I was always reading about it and looking it up, and that was when I was really young. And but always wanted to somehow work in a way to where it was like it affected people deeply, whether it was like, your dreams of being a doctor or being a musician or whatever it is. I can't do a 9 to 5. I just can't, I just can't do that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that we've set ourselves up for, I think, not set ourselves up not for success, but in the way that the world works, it's like, man, if you don't want your 9 to 5, you're probably going to be poor all your life. And I mean, look, I don't like to believe that, but definitely we have chosen an interesting path for ourselves doing the music thing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is it like having grown up in music and having a brother, a sibling who grew up in music? How have you... Oh, you know what? I'm just saying that as if the audience knows. So, like, wait, can you just, like, break that down a little bit? Like, you're a COLT, you have a brother, you play music together, and then I'll go to my next question.
Yeah, so I have a brother. My whole family plays music. My dad plays music. He's a singer. My brother plays music, and I play music. That's all that is in our immediate family. My grandmother and grandfather were also singers. They didn't, play music, I guess you would say, but my brother played. He and I kind of learned how to play all at the same time, and it was kind of funny because my dad left his instruments all over the place, all over the house, and my dad wasn't the type of person that was like, "Don't touch my guitar, that's really expensive." He was always like, "Yeah, pick it up, I don't care." And so I remember just creeping over there, me and my brother, and we just would just kind of strum his guitar a little bit. It's like, oh, it makes a sound, and we'd pick it up, and I remember trying to learn a song, and he tried to learn a song, and the next thing you know, we started playing together. And it was funny because I started playing the drums and my brother started playing the bass, which is funny now because now I'm a front man and he's a guitar player. But I remember the strings would hurt his fingers when he would try to pluck a note and then hit the fret, and his regular fingers weren't strong enough to play, so he would hit the string with his thumb, and he couldn't play guitar, so he tried the bass first. So he would hit it with his thumb, and then this finger, this hand would hurt too much to try and push down the frets and work the frets. So he would put on this big glove and just
MacGyver it.
and badly play, just strum and just kind of hit something. And he finally got to where he could learn somewhat of a song, and I would play on drums and badly, and he couldn't stand up and play when he finally learned how to play a little bit. So he would sit in this rocking chair and just sit back, just like an old man. and I'd be over there just playing drums to his whatever it is. And it was goofy, man. It was just so goofy. We never had a lesson. We just kind of just happened into it. You know? So
how has it been then, like, growing into adulthood and then forming bands that are working professional bands? How has that been, like, having that background with your brother and then pulling other people into the mix? Like,
you can read his mind. He can read my mind. You know,
yeah,
kinda,
that's really cool.
Yeah, we kind of already know where each other is going. We've played for so long. And we already kind of developed our own sound. And so when we pull someone else into the music, it's just kind of like, you're going to do what we're already doing.
Right,
like,
right. We have something developed. Yeah,
we already have something. So either you like it or you don't, and you can add to it. But I mean, it's not like that really, because I want everyone's opinion.
Right.
Usually when we write songs or I write songs, you have this big idea of how it is in your head. And you're like, you're sitting there and you're imagining the song and you're writing the song and you're like, oh, this is the big part and this is the little subtle part and this is the, this is the whole energy behind this. And then you show it to the band and they're completely different people. So they're going to take it and it's just going to flip flop and it's not even going to be what you envisioned it. So it's going to be completely...
You're playing it wrong.
Yeah. So, but no. I used to be like, what's happening to my song?
Right. My song.
Yeah,
it's like, it's everyone's now song. Like, that's...
You just got to let it happen. You know, just let it happen. Just like, it's going to hurt, but just let it happen. It's for the better. And you know what? It comes out sounding better anyway. So, usually that's kind of what it's like bringing somebody else in, is like you kind of already have this developed sound with you and your brother, and then they take it and they twist it all up, and it doesn't mean that y'all aren't still in it. It's just different now. Right.
Yeah. It's just evolved a little bit. So tell me about your band. Your band is called Cure My Enemy. For those watching, see exactly how it sounds. CURE. New word, my, M-Y, enemy, E-N. I don't even know how. Cure My Enemy. That's so you can go follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
So tell me about the band.
Well, we're the only Cure My Enemy that I know of in the world. So that's pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, that's such an interesting title to me. Like, because as someone who grew up like in the church, it's like, the world would be like, no, don't cure your enemy, kill your enemy. It's like you totally flipped it. Like, no, let him slap you on the other side of the cheek or whatever. Give them your shirt. Like, cure your enemy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. What's funny is like, it sounds like such a profound name. It's like, oh, there's so much meaning in this name. But honestly, when we came up with it, it just kind of rolled off the tongue. Didn't really mean anything at the time. And we were looking for band names, and I had this old Native American medicine man book. And we were flipping through this book and saw the words, something about your enemy and some sort of like voodoo, like medicine man work or whatever. And somebody said, Cure My Enemy. And I was like, that's it. That's the band name.
One.
There you
go. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we do original music, and I moved down here a few years ago to pursue a music career with this band, playing original music. And we've been really fortunate because we've... you always feel like you could have done more, you want to do more, you want to be further along. But honestly, when I look back, it's just like, man, we have had a lot of really awesome opportunities with this band down here. And so, the sound is kind of like, I don't know, our biggest influences are like Jeff Beck and John Mayer. And I come from actually, my dad plays blues, but I got into like metal a lot, so I listen to a lot of like deathcore stuff. I listen to all that junk,
like
Suicide Silence,
Bring Me the Horizon.
Bring Me the Horizon. Yeah, they're not
Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada.
Cool.
I love Lorna Shore right now.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of Lorna Shore. They're pretty gross. So
cool. Interesting.
Yeah,
I used to listen back in high school. I was like really into what we call it in Australia like screamo. So I listened to a lot of that, went to a lot of shows. Only ever got involved in maybe one or two mosh pits, got smacked in the head and thought,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for me. I like it from the back.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I listen to it from the back too. I don't participate in the stuff, but
Wall of death.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to die.
So when we started writing music for the band, or I started writing music for the band, I had met a couple people that were, soul and jazz players and all this stuff, and so I was like, yeah, I'll play some of my dad's old, stuff that he always covered, which was, some Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. And we started doing covers and playing stuff like that. And I decided to write a song. One of my biggest influences is John Mayer. I just, I don't, not to say I'm a fan of every single thing he's ever written, but I'm a fan of like how he does his career. Like he can, he can go out and do whatever he wants. He's got his, his ragtag, raw blues thing. He's got his pop thing. He can do whatever he wants,
And on that note, like just also I feel like the way also he does his career and the way he does his shows, like he'd go and do a tour and sell out stadiums and then go and play. He recently did, I don't know if you're a fan, but I really like this group on the internet called Scary Pockets. And
I've never heard of them.
I'll send you some links. There's this guy called David Ryan Harris who I'd love to get on the show. I'm putting that out into the universe. But David Ryan Harris was one of John Mayer's guitarists for back from the 90s, like a long time. And David did a show in LA and John played guitar for him. Yeah. And I was like, he seems like such a cool dude that he, goes and plays all these world tours and then he's like, hey, yeah, I'll back you up on guitar. Like, it's cool. Just cool.
Yeah, music is music, man.
True.
I was talking to Moses Mo, I guess a couple of years ago. We did a gig together. And for those who don't know Moses Mo, he's the guitar player for Mother's Finest. They had that hit song, Baby Love, and all that stuff. They're kind of an Atlanta hometown favorite. And he came and played a gig with us, and there was 100 people there, and he had just gotten off of tour in Europe, playing to thousands of people. And I'm like, man, what's it like, doing that, and then coming over here and doing this little thing, and then some people kind of stroll in, they might not know you, like,
right?
How's that make you feel? And he's like, man, it's all music.
It's all music.
It's all music. And I was like, it's all music.
Yeah. Bring. Yeah. No, it's true. I've always tried to perform by the mantra of like whether it's 2 people or 20 people or 200 or 2,000, like to still put on the same show, because exactly, it's all music, at the end of the day, still doing exactly what you love for people who are there to hear it. So
it's hard not to get overtaken by the feeling of like competing for real estate in people's minds, and just being like obsessing over that as opposed to just playing music,
right?
You kind of get self-absorbed into that because you're trying to get to the next step, and you need people to help you get to the next step,
right?
So therefore it turns into a manipulation tactic. And then the music is just not the music anymore. Right.
Now it's become political, and absolutely. I totally feel that. I was watching a little 2-minute video on the internet today about how we shouldn't, as humans across the board, but I feel like particularly for creative humans, like it's not about competing. It's not about being at the top. Like you're in a competition with one. Don't be the best, be the only. Because when you're the only one, there is no competition. You're just doing you. And you're being authentic and genuine. I was like, man, I need to remember that. I need to remind myself that like so often, it's not that it's a competition, but that I don't have to feel like I'm not doing enough if I'm not as far in my career as someone else is, or as if I haven't, had enough experiences. Like, I think that's so important to remember.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You can get so wrapped up into it, but
yeah. So tell me, what is next, or what's coming up in 2023 for COATES and your music, your band, your dreams?
So we have a plan. We're fully independent, which when I came down here, I didn't have very much support from anyone, and we still don't have very much support. So what do you do when you don't have a whole lot of support? You just do it yourself. So everything that we do comes out of pocket, and we promote all our own shows. We book all our own shows. We record, mix, and master all of our own music. We just recently paid off like a $20,000 bank loan, putting a studio in our house so we can record our own music when we want to. And started an LLC for the band, got a band bank account going. Everything that we make with the band dumps into this account.
Excellent.
And that's it. You know, it helps not having to come out of pocket for everything.
Right.
I recently started a business. I didn't tell you, my dad does blacksmithing for a living. And so
that tracks. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He's a dude who lives in the mountains like that.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I started a blacksmithing business. So I make a lot of fancy ornamental. I do ironwork, gates, railings. I recently actually did a rattlesnake sculpture for Brantley Gilbert, wrapping around his mic stand.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I do swords and knives and all kind of stuff like that as well. So I actually started that business to fund the band.
Right. Okay.
And that's a whole nother freaking whirlwind
creative
venture
thing.
all on its own. It comes with its own stress and all that junk. But for 2023, we're just trying to get to a place where we can effectively and consistently release music and content. So we just shot a music video to kind of our flagship song, The Dark Prince, which that's a song about suicide and depression and all that stuff. And we just shot a music video in this big cathedral down in Atlanta. We had a guy come in and body paint like he was the devil and whispering in people's ears and all this stuff. And it was a cool storyline.
Yeah.
And so we shot the music video to that. We're getting ready to release that.
And was the storyline by the band? Like you guys, or did you have people come in?
We had some actors, friends, I should say, that were actors, and they did a great job. I was really, really surprised at how good they did.
Cool.
But everybody kind of had their own little story, and the band was just kind of back there playing. And so we're going to release that this year. We're also stacking up some other music videos, and we're finalizing some stuff that we recorded. And the plan is to release something of significance once a month, just to keep it going.
Yeah, keep the momentum going.
Just
Absolutely.
keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, cool. And is this stuff? Well, the stuff that you're releasing is it going to be like fresh material musically? Like, are you planning to record stuff that you like might have just written the week before? Or are you sort of going to be getting your back catalog and putting that to the forefront?
Both.
Okay.
Both things. We have a lot of songs that I've been playing for years, 10 years. That's just never made it to, made it out to the public much, and. So we're going to release that stuff. But when we record, like our studio is in our house.
Right.
We went and bought the good stuff, as far as recording equipment goes. And we're like, and so we can record anything whenever
Anytime.
we want.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about anybody telling us what to do.
Right.
So if we come up with a new song, which we do have new songs, we just rehearse it, play it, work it out, go record it. Bam, it's a song.
Yeah.
Why not mix it and master it and release it?
Right, exactly. It's already there.
Yeah, it's already there. Throw it on the set list.
Cool.
Release it and get it out there.
And how do like if you're also working on shows, how do rehearsals and stuff work? Because I know that your guitarist, your brother, he doesn't live in Atlanta. So how do you get people band together for rehearsals? And
the biggest thing that people can do if they're rehearsing is practice in their own time. When you get together for practice, it shouldn't be practice. It should be
rehearsing. Absolutely.
So,
I live by that mantra too. Yeah.
Yeah. So usually, what I do is I'll write out the set list, or I'll get together with another band member or something. We'll write out the set list. We'll just kind of think about the show that we're doing, and sometimes only two of us can get together and start rehearsing and playing and practicing in our own time. And I send out the entire plan, and we plan out everything we do. I mean, we do transitions between the songs. Sometimes we'll play an entire song with nothing but transitions and no talking, just song into the next song, into the next song, and all that stuff is planned out. And I'll send all that to, say, my brother in Virginia, and he'll get it. And he used to live down here, so we had been playing down here already, and so he already knows the music.
Okay.
So he doesn't have to practice all that much.
Right.
So
okay.
he comes down here maybe about 1 or 2 days early before a show. We do one rehearsal, go play the show. He goes back to Virginia.
Okay.
So, and the drummer does the same thing because he's from Alabama.
All right, because Shane's from Alabama. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, one last time, can you shout out your, if you want to, your personal page, but otherwise, where to find you and your band on social media, on streaming platforms, so that they can follow and like and support?
I tell you what, the best way to support us right now is to just follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook. We're just started a TikTok as well.
I'm so band dance videos.
Yeah. So we're doing that thing. We don't have anything released yet. The music video is not released. We're getting ready to shoot another music video, and then another one after that. And if you want to support us, wait for those things to drop, and then go see them. Go share them. Go see them. Be involved with us and what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any shows coming up in the next couple of months?
The next show we have coming up, and we're not booking a whole lot because we're just concentrating on the releases.
Right.
And it's difficult because it always takes a chunk of $500 or $1,000 or $2,000. The last video we shot was $2,500, and which is not that much, but still, you got to save and plan.
And it's coming out of a band LLC, that's the project, So,
So we're just concentrating on stuff like that. You kind of got to do one thing at a time. So I'm not taking a whole lot of gigs unless somebody calls me and wants me to play, which I'm happy to do it. But our next show coming up is for the Atlanta Music Scene Showcase Festival. Scully Coley puts that on. He's a local promoter. He's a really awesome guy. He does a lot of, he books for 37 Main and does a lot of stuff. And so he puts on this this festival for original bands, and that's on March 12th. That's our next show coming up.
March 12th.
Yeah, March 12th.
Okay, I'll be in the city, so that's cool. All right, cool. All right, well, March 12th, we'll definitely know to look out for Cure Your Enemy. Cure Enemy. You're my enemy. I don't care about your enemy.
Everybody says that, right?
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us today, Colt. It's been really awesome to hear a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And if you're another artist in Atlanta or Georgia or even the wider States of America, and you would like to come and be on this show, you're around town in Atlanta, please let us know. You can reach out to us at Vision One Media ATL on Instagram. We're the same on Facebook. We're the same on YouTube. We would love to hear from you. And if you're in Atlanta and you want to come check out what we do here at the studios, just send us a message. We're always happy to give people a tour, and we're always happy to collaborate and meet new people and meet new artists, and just keep making this community and network a stronger one for all of the creatives in the area. So thank you so much for coming along. You've been a wonderful guest. Y'all are wonderful audiences, as always, and we'll see you all next week.
Woohoo.